Fucking A. Just as I start the recording, let me just try and fly through this VOD. This VOD isn't 2 hours, it ends at like 1:30 I think, but I cut the VOD. I forgot to like stop the VOD, so there's like a bit of other stuff. Um, Let me zip through the comps to make a small correction real quick. When we're playing Sim, we want Baptiste probably. We definitely want Lucio, at least for an amp out of spawn. And then a swap to like Mercy or some shit. With especially with this double shield combo, we want Moira. If we're playing Orisa, Baptiste, sorry. If we want Orisa Sig, then we can play the Lucio Moira, and then we play like Doom Reaper, or we play Mei Reaper, and we just W key on them. But this comp, especially with the Sim, is more poke based. We're lucky that we've won first fight, because now we can really easily like resource deny them. They're gonna have to use resources to get into us, so we can play around that. They do have healing advantage, I think, with the Baptiste, and Window is super good with their comp. So like we just have nothing for, yeah, we actually have nothing for Window pull Fire Strike. Like if they throw Window in here and they pull here, like it's just he's dead. I think Dunk's probably okay, but we force cooldowns and Crawford basically dies. So, but we get lucky here that we can just burn them out, which is weird because the rest of our comp bar the Sim really wants to go into them. I feel like you wait a bit for the Sim to charge up. So the comp's not too bad actually. But like you want Sim basically on the fucking full 190, just lasering shields and then taking a small off angle to help finish.
We can't fish.
Watch out, Ryan. Help
Like you play for freeze, you play the corner, you get your Sim on full energy, you play for the freeze, and then the Sim swaps onto the full energy target and they get burst.
No heal orb, I'm half on heals, I'm low at the back
He's
right.
split on like the far right. I'm healed.
Nice. Wait, I can.
This is a good kill on Orisa.
Orban one.
Good wall, good aggro.
Focus McCree.
Well, that's thing.
Focus on McCree.
I'm freezing.
I'm on the McCree.
McCree's warm.
Ramp, nice.
Now right.
The target effect is a bit
Press
split
LE,
there.
clean up.
When we're burning tanks, we really want to be with our Sim, especially. But against like Scritchies when the fight devolves, whoever's playing the Sim, MB in this case, can kind of just split off and 1v1 people because he like one clips literally on Sim because it's just a ridiculous amount of damage.
Ah, help!
I can shoot you.
Oh, track
We're
it.
I have no heals.
Yeah,
They're near Echo, they're near McCree, they're near Ryan. Or they have Ryan, and they have...
What are they cloning your comp?
they probably clone Ryan.
Just getting practice for it. Yeah, in this comp, I would think they would either clone the Mei to try and get a cheeky Blizzard because they don't have one, or they would probably just clone Reinhardt and run a U. Especially when they're Reinhardt Shatter. That's like a thing we need to look out for when they're Reinhardt Shatter and when they have Echo ult, because that's a lot of pressure on Dino. So.
If they clone Ryan, we just hard focus.
Yeah, we got the kill.
They're gonna maybe try and slam if we focus on Ryan. So Ryan, be careful.
Yeah, so Crawford's calls
Okay,
it.
so
We engage when we get bombed.
Huge amount of brain.
We're going
Focus
right.
Ryan,
Here's someone
break lamp.
Oh,
Why are they
that's
pausing
such a
there?
bad.
That's a Jace.
That's Jace, but. That's
Did someone leave?
Yeah, so I have pause on disconnect on, so someone DC'd. Yeah, there you go.
Oh.
They lost their Echo ult. We got so lucky they lost their Echo ult here actually. Like we got so lucky.
They have.
Right, let's see how we lose this right then. Oh, they just run in with shatter, don't they? How do they shatter for?
Disengage.
What about?
Oh, so fucking Frost goes all the way back with the disengage and we're still here.
Can't
I
get
can beat if we need.
And then he knocks both DPS down. Does he kill anyone? Oh, so they kill the same.
I'm beating.
And he pins the Mei.
Fuck, I'm beating.
What about?
Is the beat late?
If we need.
Yeah, he should beat this immediately.
Right side.
If we beat, we win this.
You might charge it.
Because then we beat and then we can use Blizzard and we win.
I'm
That's just a call. But 100% here, like beat Blizzard, we win this so easy.
Beating.
It's unlucky.
Fuck, I'm beat. Ryan.
We're perfectly okay
Right,
giving this
okay.
up though. Like we can give this up. Like
Pre half.
it's okay.
Just try stall, make it last
I
five.
get McCree. Mora, can you bet?
Fake it, don't take it.
Yeah,
I
fake
haven't
it, fake
I haven't in five.
Oh, never mind,
They've
they
given
got
you.
those
They've let you walk in. Like they give you. So when they play this far back, they either give you free TP or they let you walk in. I have no idea why they're playing this far back. I guess because they're on more of a poke comp. But like even still, we have double shield and the speed to just go into them, and we can kind of ignore the poke that they put out. They're going to do a couple of right clicks, a bit of bapt, and like the poke from Echo. But the Echo poke is off angle anyway, so
We
Yeah.
can
Okay,
play.
just wall in. Split point
Well,
before. Split point.
yeah. At this point, like we can even like wall like directly down here. But one of the best things you can always do is just like wall straight down the middle. I normally wait for the Orisa shield so you can split either way and then focus. So see, the Moira is like the heals here for Baptiste is like line of sight. Oh, you can also do it against Immortality. If they use like an Immo here, then we can like wall off that, for example. So
Oh.
Yeah, I'm
Just
gonna
line
mail.
of sight.
I'm gonna mail.
Okay, use mail study. Speeding in.
Behind you.
so this is a full, is it?
It's
Disengage
actually.
shining.
Or
Disengage
Ben, or
shining.
Ben.
We can
Yeah.
Okay,
play.
just wall in. Split point
Well,
before. Split point.
At this point, like when they're playing far back, this should be the mail. We should mail first here. We almost get lucky. Like against the McCree, we want to be using the war reactionary,
Oh.
like in
Yeah,
reaction
I'm
to
gonna
shit.
mail. I'm gonna mail.
We almost get
Mail.
fucked it. We literally win this because of the May, otherwise we'd lose. Which is we're all stacked behind the shield against the High Noon.
Study. Speeding in.
Behind you.
So like he kills
Disengage
NB, I
shining,
think,
disengage
or
shining.
Dino,
It's huge.
and then
it's
we just
huge.
pop a lamp and
Right,
kill
right,
them
right,
all.
right, right. Echo left
Pulling
side.
echo, pulling echo.
Coalescing.
Get Echo, get Echo, get Echo.
I get Echo.
And we get the cold just to
Listen
clean
point,
up
listen
and
point.
make sure.
We show one.
Nice. Felicia.
Arista mid.
So overall, actually kind of a good fight for us. Because we just go in. I mean, we need to win one fight anyway. But
Nice slam.
yeah, just quickly so we get used to the Echo. What all percentage do we think the Echo was on there? Just a bit of a quick guess.
I feel
Like
like
60.
60.
She was on 82.
80.
It's kind of hard. You can go Zarya instead of Arista. Zarya's always
Oh,
Zarya.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And then MB goes like
Spence.
recall. So with this comp, we use Sim TP here. This is I really like this rollout from us. This is something we need to stop doing more. It's like a minor thing, right? Especially if MB plays Reaper, because I think MB can TP to about where Frost and Dino are right now, and then he'll catch up super quick with speed boost and shit. So anyway, especially when we're on a May comp, getting to this is super good. And if they don't do the same thing, we just take this because of Sim TP. So Sim TP and then he goes Reaper. It's just like a little micro tech, right? But we need to be doing it more, especially on control, and especially on this map when we have a May. So MB should go Reaper here. We take control of this. We get up here first. We can off-angle our May here probably, or we can at least look for the wall, and then we go into them. We don't want to be hanging around. This comp outpokes us. We want to be going into them. If we're not getting value off May freeze, then MB really actually just be on junk here
Oh,
or something.
Big TP, guys, big TP.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
super.
fuck. I forgot
B needs to be on Reaper here because otherwise we're like a man down.
about that one.
Look how close you
Uh,
got there.
They got
Yeah,
main.
probably fine.
They're a Risa take.
They're on
Double
spawn
shield.
now.
Play close.
Okay,
It's actually
rotate
up,
right,
to be
rotate
fair.
right, rotate right. Mbe
Okay,
come.
right.
Help
Like he
Mbe,
can't
help
like
Mbe.
MB split off. If he was a Reaper, this would be fine.
Okay, they're set up
Wait
on
for my
point.
shield.
Okay, so that's a really nice rotation from them actually.
Okay, rotate right, rotate right.
They understand the
Okay,
comp they're
right,
playing,
right.
which is good
Help
because they're
Mbe, help
4K,
Mbe.
so they should do. This is done. This is where I think just the core needs to come through. We've scouted their comp. That's something our tanks can be doing, so obviously our tanks are going to be seeing their comp first, right? Most likely. So we scout their comp, and then the call needs to be made that we're going into them. But a Doom Reaper against their comp is actually kind of silly, I think. You like Doom farms their backline. Yeah, you have a McCree, but I think you can support the Doom
Okay, they're set up on point.
well enough, especially with Zarya bubble.
Just wait, please.
Wait for shield and amp.
Okay,
Really, don't die.
But generally against double shield, if we don't know what DPS to play, like Doom Reaper is mostly the play.
Speeding in.
Let's go.
Is this the right path? At this point, I think maybe going around here is good, because then we get the off angle on the shield. Because if they're going to shield here, right? So like that's quite easy, because they can use the shield and this as cover. Whereas if we go main, like they have to kind of play around dildo, or fucking satellite, because I refuse to call it dildo. But like going here gives them the hard cover of this. But the point is we just want to go into them as fast as possible
Okay,
here.
they're set up on
Wait for my
point.
shield. Just wait, please.
Wait for shield and amp.
Okay,
Really-
See, look, we get an angle to spam now that we force them back. Whereas if we force them here, like we've got to go through the shield.
Don't die.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
Like we just soften them up. We have to soften them up a bit with this comp.
Let's go. Need to run quick.
6 split. You can punish stick.
Where's someone?
Good. Like we just run at the Orisa
Pushing
and kill her.
I'm on Cree. Go.
Okay,
Go down.
now's it, now's it.
Down. Immortality.
Red takes the solo against the thing which is stuck.
There's a sick, kill sick.
Sigma.
Come on, take.
So yeah, we stuff it a bit, and the map definitely gets ignored. But the map lamp is just way too late. He needs to. Why does he not? Why does he not lamp to save his Orisa? Actually, does his map just throw by not lamping his Orisa?
Stick split. You can punish stick.
Where's someone?
Yeah, he just throws. Yeah, he just throws by not lamping his Orisa. Okay, GR. I might
They're only
T-toss this
about
fight.
50 on Orisa, not too high on.
Oh my.
They probably got Bappers and 60 on.
We punched out this, and I think he gets punished because of it.
They're only about 50 on Orisa.
This is dumb. I mean, now that we pause it in the VOD, but like this is dumb. We don't make the call that Dino's giving up corner, and then there's like a bunch of mistakes here, micro ones. Dino doesn't call that he gives up corner, and we're peeking without noticing that our Reinhardt has gone behind, and we're peeking against the first Orisa shield. The Orisa is always going to shield this here, otherwise she's just going to get lasered, right? So peeking this is just a lost cause. Like we're just asking to be poked down, and we definitely cannot be getting poked down here,
Not too high on.
Oh my.
especially against the Hanzo. Like if they had a McCree there,
Disengage.
we don't want to be getting poked in the last one. We want to be getting poked. There we go. So like
Survive.
we lose two because Frost and Rid overextend and they
Can you
peek.
tell me if you're gonna rotate like that?
That'd be cool, though.
Chinese is really low for me.
Yeah, same.
Turn up a bit.
Yeah, Dino needs to be.
Use your mic closer to your face, maybe.
Yeah.
So don't you have to be like super decisive against this comp, right? Like against their comp, you have to be super decisive. Not really on you. Both our Mei and our Zarya kind of brain dead poke. But they're just expecting the Ryan shield there, right? So it's like it's on all three of you really. Like this is why like comms are so important, because a simple call from either of you or all three of you shuts that down. Like they don't just run in and kill two and that's fight over. It's such a fucking infight. It's so dumb.
some damage from
You hear me breathing in the background.
We're not holding close, so we can just.
That's why.
Take root.
Go for right.
Yeah, take white.
Right.
Yeah, work forward.
Lucio.
Wait, Lucio?
How does he get rocked
Not holding
here?
close, so we can just.
Does he get pulled?
Take root.
Oh, what the fuck?
Go for right.
Yeah, take white room.
Oh, oof, and then Dano doesn't shield him. And then.
Go forward.
What the fuck was that?
Yeah, we need to go faster.
Yep.
We're standing there.
I got rocked.
That was kind of Craftwatch's fault.
Don't take too much poke.
Just the shield,
Alright,
man. Like, our Reinhardt has to drop shield there.
Okay, we go right room and we.
That's kind of a matter. That might be on Dino. I don't know. Feels like it might be. Like you just have to shield that in your Lucio's down.
Ridiac, can you ward? Help him, Bay. Help him, Bay.
Yeah, let's go.
Got him.
Beating out. Disengage.
Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. Kite.
Fight it out. Am I the only one split?
Charging shield.
Yeah.
We don't want to peek this. They can still get the angle. We have to have a plan here because they're careful. If they're smart, they try and halt here. Can you see my? That's better. But they like when they want to be halting here. They're going to be trying to throw a halt in here because that'll pull us out. We got to be careful. Halt window is crazy good.
Okay, I'm going.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Into.
Orbing in.
They should. He
Oh,
just
that's
pops the Sigma here.
Focus Orisa. Focus Orisa. Focus.
Good response to the high noon. Good response to the float. We get lamp, nice.
Now echo. Now echo.
We just win this free fight because
McCree on high ground.
oh no, we lose this one. The
Focus Orisa.
thing goes
Focus
on high
Orisa.
ground.
Focus Orisa.
So the McCree just sits on high ground and lasers.
Now echo. Now echo.
Yep. I'm looking at. Oh, behind. McCree behind.
McCree on high ground.
Guys, no one's shooting. Echo. No one's shooting him.
No can, dude. No one. Let's have a look. It's split target focus still.
Now echo. Now echo.
Yep. I'm looking at. Oh, behind. McCree behind.
So who's alive? They can shoot the Echo. Frost can nade her. Rid can hit her with a click. MB can shoot her, and then Dunk really can't do anything. And I just we probably could burst her down actually if we all looked, but this is like the moment of panic of High Noon because we don't know that the
McCree on high
McCree
ground.
is here.
Guys, no one's shooting. Echo. No one's shooting him.
I mean, this is still winnable.
Why is no one shooting Echo?
There's two of you, 2v3.
1v3.
What the fuck is happening? Why is no one shooting him?
Embe, shut the fuck up. He was on the high ground. It's really hard to shoot back there when we're on.
kill that.
We're on Brawl, dude, like. It's hard.
Just focus on the next.
Angel, we need to go on the next fight. If this happens in the future, I don't care who it is, someone needs to shut him up and override him. I have to do this with Chaotic for speed boost. Sometimes, like, it's a weird habit where you get called to talk more, or because of tilt, and you'll just randomly start spewing like random shit. This fight is over, we need to move on to the next one. So in future, just like shut him up.
Okay, they have the trans.
And if he
they
tilts
have
on that,
Thunder.
then that's on him. Like,
Do I grab
yeah,
it? Do we
Dragon.
try and force it out?
he
Somehow?
needs
Yeah,
to
they
just
can
be
do-
like, shut up,
We can't
and then we need
transfer-
to move on to the next fight.
We engage with Blizzard.
Okay.
Stack right now.
Oh,
Disengage that. Help Radiac, help.
yeah, help me out, help me out.
Yeah, I can try and shield you.
Engage, engage.
I've
He
had
hits the
Blizzard
blizzard,
out.
luckily.
Yeah, where's the
Still up
man?
on heals.
Look, it's back.
Get back, 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 back,
Yeah,
back, 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 back.
Up one.
So we can wait this out, get our Zarya on high energy, then just drop
Up
it.
one.
Oh, so much fucking damage. Can't do anything.
Too many shields.
Do we want to? I feel like we grab
Yeah,
Blizzard here.
We can't
Yeah,
transfer.
should have Dragon.
We engage with Blizzard.
Okay.
Stack right now.
Do I grab
yeah,
it?
do
Do we wait here for too long?
Somehow?
Yeah, they're gonna be.
We can't
yeah,
transfer.
should have Dragon.
We engage with Blizzard.
Okay.
Stack right now.
No, they just start us with the Sonic.
Disengage that. Help Radiac, help.
So yeah, they have so much shield pressure on Dino. I think the Zarya might be
Okay,
kind of a
okay.
throw here.
I've Blizzard.
Low, I'm really low.
Yeah, where's the
Still up on
man?
heals.
Unless like we hard go, we have to go past the Orisa shield, otherwise our Zarya is useless.
Up one.
Low.
Oh, you can play like the
Oh, I wanna play Lucio.
It's like,
I'm probably gonna like David.
Behind you, Echo behind you.
The double shield?
so we win a fight here off Crawford's boop
Double
podges.
shield, yeah.
Oh, both tank.
A huge move.
Can you help me?
They're retarded for running this.
I'm going in. I'm going on road.
Careful.
Fuck, I'm actually. Jeez.
Echo's
help.
behind you. Echo behind you.
Yeah,
The fuck am I gonna do? Hello?
Yeah,
You have
we
point
don't
in
know.
5. You have point in 5.
You see me?
Orb on you.
At this point we're just
Oh,
out.
point.
Back up, monkey. Back up.
Yeah.
Nice.
Uh,
Crawford's boop 3, let's go.
Got one.
He got 2 on himself, podges, the 3k.
Okay, we just need to...
So this comp is historically very, very weak when it's rotating. So you can try and catch them on the rotation. Crawford's dying here is super bad because we can't take advantage of the boop here again. Otherwise they wouldn't be rotating bridge. So
We just play hyper aggro when they commit to chokes. Echo can't really get much
Oh, they're
space.
coming.
we like kind of soft poke this actually. We gotta be like in this situation we can just soft poke it. Maybe commit the bubble over the Orisa and then just look to go on a dive target if they're split. Because we can't be trading poke with dive. We want to play fast. Poke versus dive is a really odd thing. Let me draw the triangle, right? So we've got Brawl, Poke, and we've got okay. Let me redo this actually. Brawl, Dive, and then Poke goes here, right? So we have Brawl beats Dive, and then loses to Poke, and then Dive beats Poke, but loses to Brawl. So this is like the main triangle. This is like super basic shit. You guys should all know this. If not in this format, but just in general. Like, because it's just a case of which heroes are good against each other. Zarya is a Brawl hero, and she sucks against Double Shield. Winston is a Dive hero, and he sucks against Brawl. Like, we know this, but it's just general stuff. Poke versus Dive is... they're all kind of skill-based, right? Like, if you play EMP Nanoblade, you can blow up Brawl. If you play Sombra Doom, like any Sombra-based comp against Brawl, you can do it, but the Brawl should win if it's all even. Dive versus Poke is a weird one, because if they can pressure out your Dive, then the comp becomes kind of useless. Poke wants to like extend the fight and play as far back as possible.
Healing orb.
So we just got to be really careful in cases like this.
Freeze off.
Come on, Orisa.
But again, like, they've gone bridge, and Crawford is have the rollout.
Six.
So like, just pressure them. Yeah, Frost just lasers.
Six.
Div against their comp is kind of silly.
Yeah, go sick, go
Yeah,
Like
six,
it's
six.
it's so
Get
good at Mountain
Sigma,
tanks.
Sigma, don't let him out.
Just DM in
You're up.
general.
I'm going in on them.
I'm low on heals, careful.
Echo no fly.
Orb in 3.
Okay, this thing. Okay, so how we're playing this is we're just stuffing chokes. Help Echo.
Yeah, you
Or-
basically
they
just
can't do it.
you just kind of stuff
Take the
chokes.
orb, take the orb.
Yeah, you can like, just.
You like soft dive. It's like
Yeah,
really
cool.
weird. But you're already up on them. You kind of dive
So
already.
watch
Yes,
out.
sir.
Backline.
Did you set up so far forward, which is weird, but
Can you
it's
see
not
where
really
they're
a
committing,
dive.
actually?
But
They're going right
They're
side.
going
because you don't get the burst
Oh,
damage from the
You still
movement.
have on
but,
heals.
Okay, when they go right side choke, commit. The ball's going left side, by the way. Like, don't let them on point. If we let
at this point, they're going to be coming through here. So this is an option for. This gives our flankers. Rid can off angle and MB can off angle this way. We just want to soften them up and then we go straight for their backline as they walk through. The tanks are going to go on point. We can kite it with Alicio and then we just go all in. Simple fact is even like D.Va, I think 4-second boosters on D.Va. D.Va could even like be here. I think it's pretty risk free that our D.Va takes like a quick cheeky boosters across here to try and get an off angle. But we just want to be like with the poke we have, which isn't a lot. We want to make sure that we soften them up, mostly with primary fires though, because we need those cooldowns to burst.
them on point. No.
I'll coalesce when you commit.
Go now, go now.
I need to.
React details behind you.
Go in, orb.
I can
Towing,
beat
I'm
in.
towing. I'm on
One,
mercy,
one,
some
one.
mercy, 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 mercy.
Close
I
behind.
need
Mercy, mercy, mercy.
Mercy.
That's
Huge
the-
pulse.
That's
Inside
the
right.
Three on the left.
that's the pulse. That's the
McCree.
two. That's the
no.
2K.
Ball on point.
Yeah,
Point.
Round point. Ball one, ball one.
Mercy, mercy.
Close behind.
So yeah, like against dive in general, in terms of Orisa Holt and Fortify, like you're never going to be going for the Orisa, right? So Orisa is kind of useless because the damage she does is pretty minimal unless she's like drilling a thing in the head. Like you can still do good damage on Orisa, but like the way you want to play on Orisa here is you want to take the shield and look for pulls and play like quite slow and gradual. Whereas the dive, you just wait for her to shield, you ignore her, and then she desperately has to turn around to try and be useful. But at that point, she's not a tank; she's just a DPS, just trying to like do pretty minimal damage
Go now, go now.
on your tanks or
React
backline.
details behind you.
Go in, orb.
You can just like ignore the Orisa
I
so
got
hard.
one.
Towing. I'm on mercy,
One,
some
one.
mercy, 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 mercy.
So you look like the Orisa is so useless that fight.
Mercy, mercy.
Mercy's
Huge
dead.
pulse.
Three inside right.
McCree on the left.
You get Korean.
I'm on the McCree.
No.
Oh.
We don't the pulse, but it wraps up the fight so easy.
Point.
Round
Like
point.
it just confirms the
Hold
fight,
on,
which
hold
I like.
Echo point.
I'm-
Just pulse usage like isn't that important, but if you can land sticks on it, he just solo carries. Job boys.
Okay, they're near Bongo, they're near Kree, they're near Amp. They're gonna go right side, they're gonna Amp. Oh, tanks just set up for right side, they can't go left side.
You probably clone ball here. You probably clone
Okay,
the off
don't let them
tank
go
here.
point.
We can break shield and then I can.
I think general, going deep with all your cooldowns, especially as dive. I don't know. We'll just draw it out here, for example. Both your tanks go in. The enemy team are all here. You get the off angle with your echo, because your echo's in the air. You use all your cooldowns. You're in a kind of vulnerable position. You swap to a tank. You get all the tank cooldowns. You maybe get their ultimate. You realise when you're getting low, so you start to back out, and then you come back as Echo with all the cooldowns to go back in again.
Monkey, you can play more aggressive.
The reason I think Echo's kind of busted, especially in dive, is because of their sustain. Because of with her ult, but Echo in general is kind of busted because it's like a cooldown rotation. You use her cooldowns, you duplicate a tank's cooldowns, you survive, and then you come back with your cooldowns basically. She's just super like
Good.
hard to kill
I'm jumping on that Korean.
because she's got the opportunity to
Go
go
in,
away.
Oh, tanks committed.
No, they're on fucking hold.
Fucking MB already has another pulse
Make sure
bomb
they can't
somehow.
touch.
I have no
Right,
idea how
obviously.
he has another pulse already.
Nice.
Holy shit, help him where no.
Monkey's
Go
one.
point, go point,
That's
go
on
point.
touch.
Can't touch.
Good. Just set up for right side. Holy shit.
Ball
See,
one, ball
MB
one.
ends that point on like 27% ult charge, which is insane, dude. I think he's just
Any
shooting
echo?
the monkey, right? It's just he shoots the Echo monkey.
Holy shit.
Nice.
So we basically get fed another pulse.
Holy shit, help him where no.
The clone here is fine. The clone here is fine. We've heard them use ults, and it's 99.
RC1.
Echo on point, echo on point.
Echo's still on point.
I'm coming
yeah.
back a beat.
So like as the fight Wait, we have a evolves,
Oh,
like the
yeah.
echo isn't as useful, but we just go hard and then Geo.
Where is he? Where is he?
Hardcraft.
He's one. He's one. He's one.
One.
Tracer 1.
Got him.
Nice. He's hooked now.
Oh my
Yeah, you
god.
guys are
Yeah.
fucking crazy. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just like stick this.
Huh?
We are Kings row. Alright.
Back, Joe.
What?
He can stand still to shoot. Yes. Flag or not? Isaac just sit on corner. That spawns. Wait, I
Close.
tried. This one matters.
Do I T-Tolls this fight? I hope
Yeah.
not. I was getting mad frame drops, that's why.
We're down. No.
Yeah, I T-Tolls this fight, my
Isaac
bad
has
boys.
bad spawns. Wait. Cap.
We want to cap.
Over ambitious.
So this is
I
this
push
is just
until,
brawl basics,
I push until a corner. Isaac.
which I don't want to look at.
No.
Where do we get held? We get held here for like 5 minutes, don't we?
Oh, huge.
They're probably near
I guess their comp, like... I'm just gonna skip to the double
Yeah,
shield
like
map, to
50
be honest.
Help right. Okay,
Blizzard,
hold up and just poke.
just in general against their comp, any brawl comp, Blizzard is the win condition.
And then we back out.
You force cooldowns and rotations away with Blizzard, or you will
Then we
freeze
have
them
the
and kill
ability
them.
to poke this.
Most of the time you go into them, and then you want a wall behind and then freeze with the
Use force
Blizzard.
resources. Like they've used both.
Reaper slipping.
We can use mail this way.
Back up. They're looking.
Oh wait, we're on the
I can
defense.
bomb this and you shatter. I'm bombing.
Reaper on TPing.
Feeding in.
Oh,
I know. We can use mail this way.
Back up. They're looking.
yeah.
I can bomb this and
In general, because of the fact that they can come through, I would bomb. I'd assume Frost is a better D.Va player, but just from playing goats and shit, right? Like, I would try and slide the bomb off this, or off this at the back, just to try and bomb this corner. Because they just walk forward anyway.
shatter.
The
I'm
bomb
bombing.
goes way too far back,
TP.
look, like the bomb just gets like no value.
Oh,
However, we bomb slam and we kill...
Yeah.
We kill their Ana, which isn't too bad.
Get the echo.
Echo round.
But we have to commit Blizzard just to seal this up.
yeah, the actual...
And I honestly think we do. This is bad scouting from us. The Zarya should be frozen here.
Actual round one.
Zarya frozen, damn.
Double round.
You show me.
Reaper one.
So we use 3 ults this fight, which really like isn't ideal.
We can get Zari.
So we get lucky because they hard stagger themselves. Like this is us slightly misplaying and them just making hard mistakes.
Yeah, back.
Yeah, get back, man.
They're still down, people.
We get lucky that we have the 3 ults we can use last fight, and they
I think
have
I can-
everything almost.
They have
but-
grab probably.
They have Grav,
trying
Lucio,
it.
Ryan. They have basically everything. Maybe not Reaper.
We can high noon this rotation.
They have
Echo.
one for grab if I fuck up.
They have to rotate into us,
Okay,
and we
okay.
can high noon that. High noon is just super good for zoning and forcing cooldowns. It makes you vulnerable, but as long as someone looks for the Reaper, it's like if we high noon here, as long as the Reaper doesn't just blindly TP here and walk down and one-tap him, like as long as we see that happens, then we should be
Watch
fine.
out for Lucio.
Ryan slap.
This is exactly what the Reaper does. Like this is what Reaper's going to do every fight. We get lucky that he beats basically as we go in.
Echo
We-
Nanos.
We don't know that the Reaper's there. And then we do the high noon,
Feeding
just
in.
to zone off.
What? I have my.
I need help. Go.
I think overlapping nano and high noon is not
Nano.
good.
Ryan's getting froze.
Feeding in.
We go into them, but they disengage just as the high noon. And the high noon, the nano is a bit too early.
I need help.
Use of nano in this comp actually are basically you nano the Reinhardt, but you either nano the Reinhardt to peel nano and save him, or when the fight goes long, if they've used all their cooldowns, we nano the Reinhardt, he speeds in, and they have no cooldowns to kill him, so he just hard cleaves, and then he probably gets shatter, or he just cleaves, and then that's his job done. He gets like flat damage. Like the Ryan gets ward off, the Ryan gets ward off, we nano Dino here and we win this. Like we nano Dino, this is so free.
Reaper one.
We just play a bit too hard. We play too early here.
Play for shatter.
Not like playing for tempo so much. It's just playing too early.
Play for
They
shatter.
use Echo ult.
All we want to use early in this comp are high noon's reactive, beat's reactive, nano's reactive. Bomb can be either reactive or proactive. The same with Blizzard. And then Shatter is dynamic as well. So
Run.
Josh. Do you even have back?
Like the comp itself plays for tempo because we can play with shatter and then we just
Focus Echo.
your bomb
Under down.
Reaper.
Reaper.
Echo one,
Nice.
echo one, echo one, echo one.
pinned
Echo, echo.
job. So we gotta trust the call. Like if he makes the call and it's
The game's over, by the way.
yeah, no, and he sounds confident in it, we gotta go in it. If you don't agree with it, we go over it in VOD of you. That's like basic, right? Just not here. The call is right at the time. Number one, you don't want to piss him off, and number two, it undermines him, and we can't be having that because like. So another reason that I kind of mentioned, which by saying pissing him off, which is a shit explanation, but you never want to override him. It pisses him off, which means he's less likely to come, especially when it's the comm structure we have at the moment, which is that we have Krafox as the dominant voice. So he's doing a lot of the shot calling, right? He's doing most of the calls. But regardless of the bottom line, is like the call is made. We need to trust that call. We trust that call. If he gets it wrong, he learns. Like he makes the call because he thinks it's winnable. We need to find out. Like it's a scrim. We're here to learn. You know. Then you say we want to be practicing the comms that we're bad at.
Don't unpause until I'm back out, but take him.
Actually could work.
I can fire.
I mean, I can fucking sub-Surslin if we need.
I need some heals, by the way, if you didn't notice.
We should get out.
Fucking hell, dude.
Wait, can you pull? I can bomb when you pull.
I don't know where they are. Yeah, I'm pulling up Joe.
This is the fucking weird raspberry
Oh.
comp instead of the Farah.
Last round.
The shield. I think the Farah might actually be better here because we're looking to spam over and through the shields.
I don't know why you would play Echo, to be honest.
I mean,
It's not the comp.
I would prefer dive here. It's definitely not the comp. I don't think the comp's that good, to be fair. Krafox will have to explain it, but especially against this comp, like they just poke our dive out so hard where we kind of sit here with our supports and our Orisa and do nothing. Like I'd prefer if our Orisa was physically into them. But it's like our Orisa goes into my desk after our ball's gone in, but
It's the player.
we can
Are you
rotate the
ready?
times if we do it correctly,
Wait.
because yeah, it's like our ball will be in and out and around, whereas our Orisa just provides like point presence, right? So like, but Orisa just providing on point and both supports, or like Dunce just pocketing Dino, like our Orisa can stay point for a while, and that allows our dive to like zip around the map and rotate and shit. It's like half dive.
Zodiac. Zodiac, take me high ground.
well, in 4 I can.
Slam and high ground.
Bull, you need to be in that back line. I can res that to you.
Like all three of us want to be in the back line. MB, Rid, and Frost all want to be going super aggro for the dive.
One.
Oh.
I'll fight this.
Okay, after this we just hard swap to dive. If you die, like, swap on to dive.
Yeah, okay, I'll die here.
We can stall this out though. Like we
I'm soft.
bit of all charge
Fire
time.
here.
Pulling Hanzo.
You use ult, that's good, that's good. You use
Yeah, we force an ult.
Okay, go monkey, monkey,
Use
diva.
Orisa, you can.
I can't switch yet.
Yeah, he's Orisa.
Well, we sub the Baptiste,
Duncan,
obviously.
Either go like Lucio or
I've got to
what
wait.
you think?
I'll
Okay.
tell you when to switch.
Monkey.
No, I've got to wait.
Yeah, dude, he's clones, you can.
How does that work?
It's stupid, I don't understand it.
It's just another thing that Echo doesn't need. Like she doesn't need to have it. It doesn't make her good at all. It's just annoying.
Sick. Man, sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
How do we lose
Okay, so
so
that-
quickly?
Help Chinese.
I'm hugged.
Oh my god, she's
Perhaps, huh?
Echo's one. Echo's one.
Whereabouts?
Inside.
I can res.
Oh, damn.
Hang on, 10. I don't understand it.
Do we kill the Sigma?
Are we ready? Go.
Let's go.
Wait, can we jump on
You want high ground?
Frost gets so fucking lasered, basically just by the Echo.
Sick,
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, damn.
At this point, like once we take shuttle and force them off, then we want to look to drop on them and go from there. This is so hard without Frost's mech, but we have to fight anyway because they're just gonna zip it through.
Hang on, 10.
Okay, so that.
So we look to split at this point. Like once we've dived shuttle, like shuttle is ours now, so we ain't taking that. We can just go from there.
Help Chinese. Help Chinese.
I'm hugged.
Oh my god, she's
Perhaps, huh?
Echo's one.
Whereabouts?
Inside.
I can res them.
So we just look for the split with the dive.
Yeah.
Luckily, they all get funneled in here,
Alright,
and then
mine.
we have enough damage. Where our DPS can just hard funnel through this. If we had a diva, this fight would be one even quicker.
That's a one.
Just go in. You can.
Hey, Duncan could go brick.
Orisa.
There's a McCree left. Hey, watch out. Fuck, sorry, monkey.
Yeah.
Monkey, watch out behind you. There's a stick behind.
Ooh.
Hey, so long.
Let's play high ground.
It's not fucking possible. Legit.
We're just not playing it correctly. In future, I'm just gonna fucking say it. I mean, I like that he makes the call because it's not working, but this tilt pick, it's a no-no. Like we literally swap onto a worse comp. We swap onto the comp. We're on the comp that hard counters them. We need to swap to the heroes, not the actual composition and strategy itself. What do we fucking do if we brawl against this? Like, we'd have to go here, and we'd have to go here, and then we'd have to get blue boxes, and then I just like if we have to do this. So if we play brawl against this, we go all the way through here. We clear them off blue boxes without having to use any cooldowns. We wait, and then if they don't just go back up to the high ground, we have to wait till they drop, and then drop onto them and try and brawl them.
Bunch of fucking golds.
Oh, you wanna go hard brawl?
Something else and die.
Okay,
Orisa,
right,
Orisa,
fucking
right?
May,
We just don't set the brawl up.
McCree, spinning on
but
court, spinning on groups.
I like that we roll with the dive at least.
Watch out, Widow's still on high.
We can go cart now.
Oh, I think we just forced.
At this point, we can actually just mirror poke.
We're
Oh,
dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah, drop.
down, Cree.
spinning on core, spinning on core.
I'm dead.
Yeah, we're dead.
We got to remember as well. Fucking obvious is obvious. We just tilt com here. We need someone just to make sure like we need to go in and fight quickly because they don't. We need to get their ultimates out of them. This is like one of the dangers of swapping a whole comp so late. We don't have ultimates for basically anyone apart from Nano, and they're gonna have all their ults. So they're just gonna win fights by using one ult because we can't mirror anything.
Yes, take
So,
goals. Yeah.
like they just use flux there
I
and
think
destroy us.
Jack, you can go Hanzo if you want.
Like we're on poke at this point. We're not on brawl. We're on poke. So we end up
Maybe
trying to
we're
swap to
punishing.
brawl, but we're on poke at this point. So we should be having a babt.
Echo, wait, get out, get out, get out, get out!
Okay, back. Oh yeah, definitely back.
What the fuck are we doing?
We have to wait. Okay, nice.
Okay, go now, get sick, get
Take
sick.
that.
Good anti. We rush on the stage.
Go Jess, go Jess.
You fucking kidding me?
Why the Nano Lucio?
Oh,
Why today? Get Orisa.
Reloading?
One Orisa.
Nice, but we've taken space. We can move up here.
okay, I'm pushing.
Echo's on
Orisa no gold. Orisa no gold.
I'm
Okay,
pissed.
sick.
Not really much MB can do there. He gets
Send out-
dove by a solo echo.
Help Orion, help Orion, help Orion.
Echo in or two?
How does that right take
Orisa
so
no
much
gold,
damage?
Orisa no
The
gold.
echo.
Sick. 1-to-1 trade, you're equal.
Send up as
Break shield, break shield.
help Orion, help Orion, help Orion.
Ah, he gets blown up,
Echo in or
discorded.
two? Echo
I can
one.
beat this.
Sigma behind.
Six on me.
The shield.
I have Echo. Wait, no, not.
Close to
I'm
now.
Mongo early on. Pulling some.
We have another day fight. Please.
I'm not speaking. This is like kind of useless.
Pull them off.
What?
We just get held here.
Slowly, this.
Skip the Anubis
Okay,
map.
go now.
Just
On
protect
enemy.
it.
Cool.
Nice.
Sig is still in there.
Yeah, I'm bugging.
Earlier.
We hold Bongo.
Right, double
They're
shield.
gonna try and surround us, so don't let them surround us. Try and land a nade on them if they hard it.
So this is a different variant of double shield. This is a lot less poke, obviously because of the Sigma, and it's a lot less CC. In general, especially with this duo, as I said earlier, we need the Baptiste. The Ana here is kind of garbage. Because they're just trying to poke you out, and we want to be looking to go past their shield and fight them even still. This feels weird to play because we have more shield than them, so we can poke them out, I guess. But we really want to be going past the shield because they have a lot of poke pressure as well. The longer the fight goes on, because we want to extend the fight, right? Because we're going to get like pull Fire Strike or like pull Bongo Fire Strike or like pull High Noon, or we're going to get an Echo clone. But as the fight goes on, they're going to build Window and they're going to build Torbolt, and just generally, like their comp is a really hard spam, especially with the Torbjorn.
Engage.
Yep.
So we play the double shield, but we need to go
And
into them.
hopefully, like,
So the
spam out.
McCree is,
Yeah, they're playing hard.
They're main.
Okay,
Not the
disengage
worst
this.
pick here. The
Line of
Traces
sight
I
is
probably
actually-
prefer
let them
actually.
spam out. Wait for point to tick and then we just rush onto.
Yeah, so we just gotta rush onto point.
Like Sigma's playing really close point.
General tip is we wanna shield out on the Reinhardt. We want to shield out to around here, and then we use our Orisa shield to stabilize, help us get around the corner. So basically, I think in this comp, they're gonna break Orisa shield in a second. So the Orisa shield just allows us to go around the corner and recharge the Reinhardt shield. Basically,
Yeah,
so then we
yeah,
can go
fine.
back into them.
Yeah, I'm just
They're playing right side from
Okay,
here.
go, go,
Go now, speeding in, speeding in.
Orisa shield in this comp is kind of useless. It's just like a
Many turrets.
momentary poke of damage. Yeah, for example, like it allows us to not just all die to the poke from the pull, because we're gonna get pulled back, which is obviously like not ideal. So the
Sigma's playing really close point.
shield just allows
We
us
have
to do
Radiant
that.
behind them.
Yeah, I'm just
They're playing right side from
Okay,
here.
go, go, go.
Go now, speeding in, speeding in.
I'm getting turret.
Big anti.
I'm pulling them.
So yeah, like semi big anti, but it doesn't fucking matter.
Can't heal you.
The enemy's not the play here. We've got to make sure. Maybe I need to do a comp sheet for us. It's difficult because I need to be studying like 3 comps at once essentially, because sometimes the flavor changes each week. So I'm getting used to them more slowly. Because like comps change like micro shit each week, and it's easy to notice if you're only scrimming. But like comps change like each week, so it's difficult for me to coach
I think
anyway.
we just swap to Orisa Sig. Spam.
Yeah. One of the things that every
Again,
coach
you
I've
play half-
like heard ever is like, in doubt, you can always just mirror. That's the beauty of Overwatch. You can always mirror. If they can mirror, you can too.
We
Like-
play for 1 round of Nano and then you go Zen. We
Yes.
go from left.
Left of me.
Honestly, I'd just swap the Zen at this point. The spam is too
Left,
good.
left.
We can always mirror or like basically
And they
near
hold
mirror
this
and
window
counter
really
pick.
come with, and then we.
As always, like if we're going for the mirror, we should always be trying to, and we're getting stuck. We should always be trying to look to mirror tank and supports.
Slap
The DPS we can
engage,
swap around with comfort pitch.
Sigma, forward play.
But yeah.
They're playing backside.
Oh my god.
So it looked like the Zen just puts 2 damage in, and then we've gotten 20% from that
Disengage,
fight.
disengage.
20, 86%.
Okay,
So-
right, we're just kind of randomly using abilities. Let's everyone wake up, call our shield rotations, call our engage.
Yeah, so in terms of the general comms on double shield, I think I talked to Dano about this, but you want to go for the first shield placement is just around the corner, because that's going to break. You go for the first shield so you can shield and then pull, because most of the time it's safer than like peeking around the corner and pulling. So the first shield you want to go for the shield, and then you want to go for pull. You can go for rock here, but you just want to like pull is super important in this comp because it allows everyone to spam. Zen can do orb volleys, your Sigma can do primary fire, or rock if you need. You probably don't want to rock first because the Sigma's going to have his shield. The first couple of pulls are going to be for shield break and for pressure, and then once the shields are low and the resources are forced, then we go for the kill. So then we commit our own resources to combo with the pull. But the first couple of pulls, they're just pull primary fire, because that forces shield break.
Turn your mics up. Put
It's like hook, right? Like the first hole is used to be always blocked back when Orisa could fly with the fortify. The first hole was always blocked by the fortify, so you didn't really commit anything. Then the next one you wanted to Maywall it, and then the next one you wanted to go for the hook, and then that's when you needed the lamp.
the mics on your faces.
But double shield is all about trading cooldowns, and this is where mirror comp is so good, because if they can trade cooldowns, and the shit that you
It's
don't
all
have,
about
it's just a lost fight.
We're going left side again.
Like it's just
Yeah,
so
we go
stupidly
left,
hard
Yeah,
lost.
left, left.
Tanks call when we're going out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna push you down.
So offhandling, like in this comp, is kind of garbage because you need the shield because of the excess spam. So we can really focus, grind down the one on the off angle, but most likely the 4 on the not.
I don't see Sigma.
Because we
Where
have
you
the
go
2
now?
shields. When like Sigma's here, he's not helping shield and peel for his team.
Pulls, we play for shields. Go point
Where's
now,
the
go point now,
Sigma?
no Zen.
He's put spam in, but like if he's off handling, we have the 1 shield, or Sigma can just like counter shield him, and then take it back and go
Okay.
back with his team.
Six separate.
Immortality on point. Focus the rest if you can. Pulls, we
Does
play
this Sigma
for
use his
shields.
flux? Yeah, he does.
Go point now,
Where's
go
the
point now,
Sigma?
no Zen.
I thought he used his flux at the
Okay.
time.
Six inside. Six
Play
separate.
Immortality on point. Focus the
Jump,
Orisa if you
jump,
can.
jump. There's Sig right side.
Yeah, six inside.
Orisa has Bongo.
How do we
Six
play
inside,
this? Let's
six
see.
separate.
Immortality on.
I'll watch this fight
I
out
see
first.
Sigma.
We can go now.
We play for pulls, we play for shields. Go point
Where's
now,
the
go point now,
Sigma?
no event. Okay,
Six inside. Six separate.
Immortality.
Okay, so we have a pick at this point. At this point they don't have the Zen, so obviously they don't have Orb and they're not going to have Discord. So just the way that you win with this comp and you snowball is you grind it out. It is literally the definition of we have more, so we have more, so we have more, and that's kind of Papega, right? But I'll explain it. We're a man up, obviously, but the fact is, like, they're missing cooldowns with every fucking thing. And they're having to use more cooldowns because they don't have that extra mana life. They don't have that healing. They're going to be missing damage, they're going to be missing sustain, or they're going to be missing poke. And sometimes they're missing like a combination of the three with the pick we get. But the point is that as long as we just set up properly, they're going to be looking to go fast here to try and trade for either backline or frontline, just to take the edge off. But once we get a pick or they're low on cooldowns, we just grind them out. We basically wait for our cooldowns to come back online, and then we punish them with those.
Focus the Orisa if you can.
Jump.
It's the same thing with the Orisa pulls. Like, we just pull, and we grind them out, and then we go forward, and then we hit the kill. Then we hit the kill switch. Then the pull comes through. Then the rock comes through. Then the fucking storm arrows can come through, and then we go through and murder them. Like, and then we pull window. Pull is just super useful in the comp. It allows you to grind them down as a group.
Orisa has Bongo.
I can eat.
The first couple of pulls are just for poke. They're just to survive. They're just to trade cooldowns. When we rise and when we see that we have the advantage, then we go in.
There's Sig right side.
In terms of tip for Frost, shield is super important against like window and shit. Against window, grasp can be very, very dangerous. They'll just.
Yeah, six inside.
I'm pretty sure you grasp against this window, you just die
I can
anyway.
eat.
Can you focus the Orisa?
See, look, they just rock you and you die.
Like really.
So yeah, like you just feed
I
here,
don't think
and we feed Nano as well.
She's dead.
So we have to use window here ourselves.
It's just Echo.
It's just Echo. Zen's back. Side.
In there.
Upper Echo.
Everyone.
I'm gonna forward it a bit. This is the icon for it. Here we go.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
Help our support. Don't just call the.
It's about taking hard cover. The first shield we want to get here, so we could probably rotate into here, so we have natural hard cover, so they can't really spam us out as much. Or we want to go into here, and then we wait. We maybe throw a halt in or two as we rotate, and then we pop back out, and then we go for the kill switch again. This comp is totally determined by how our times play. Orisa isn't the. I'm fucking stuttering and erming a lot, but it's just natural speech pattern. I apologise. As I did it, literally doing it again. So Orisa is super important. Fucking hell, because she. The value of Orisa in this comp is literally. She's decently reliable frontline because of the fortify, right? Fucking hell. But in terms of a hero, like, this is why the frustration came from main tanks, because she doesn't feel that useful. She's like the little thing, right? She's kind of the... She wants to be pulling the strings. She wants to be literally... She's the definition of like a tank support. She wants to be setting up for everyone else on her team. And the way she does that is by offering a shield to allow everyone to recharge their own more valuable cooldowns. And the Halt gets everyone ahead in ult charge and allows them to get kills as well.
But like,
The Orisa, while
give a
seeming
call
like...
and then 3-2. People have
super...
time.
What's the word? She's super valuable, right? Because of the Halt. The Halt and the Halt
I
and the
can't
shield
call
are super good.
rotations from the fucking...
The shield in the poke mirror not so much, but Fortify just allows her to stay alive.
Hello?
It's really all about the Halt. Just the Halt just allows us to
Yes.
get ahead in everything else that's more
Already
important.
muted.
Oh, really? Red score. He's here, he's here, he's here.
Never mind.
He's just muted.
Really, I can use SMA.
Putting your shield down.
So on a super spam heavy comp, they cannot sustain against this if we play it correctly. We have a Farret at this point, so we want to be shielding so we can get pulls. Ideally against walls, so our Farret can splash into the back or just fire a primary into all of them. But the way that it works is, especially if they're backed up against a wall or they're around geometry, no. they're around architecture. I don't know the fucking word, but if they're around buildings, basically, we can halt against the building because we don't have to figure out when to actually activate it then. And then the Pharah can now, because she does more splash damage again, you can splash damage off. Another setup in this comp as well is we go for the shield and Frost uses his shield to cover Rid's barrage. If he does it low enough, we can actually Bongo barrage. No, a lamp barrage, sorry. I mean, we can Bongo barrage, but lamp barrage as well. Because of just the nature, like the lamp is super good. They'll look at the Pharah as he drops down, they'll be ready to shoot the Pharah, bang, the lamp goes in, shit.
Yeah, left.
So they have to use their own cooldowns, and most likely he lives. So if the barrage doesn't kill anyone, and again it forces cooldowns, this comp is all about forcing cooldowns. We have to play in the way that forces their cooldowns, whilst basically maintaining our own. We will eventually get to a point, if it's not immediate, it's future, that they don't have the cooldowns to sustain. They don't have the lamp, they don't have the fortify, they don't have the grasp, they don't have the shield. They're going to be down in like 3 out of 5 of these cooldowns eventually, and that's if we've saved and we've understood the rotation, we can go in for the kill switch. In long sight lines, we want to be shielding out with our Sigma because it's the one that moves. It's the non-static shield. We want to go for the static shield as we spam around the corner. Then we want to push up with the non-static shield again. All this time while looking for Pharah barrage or looking for slight spam. It's absolutely okay for MB to just not be doing a lot, apart from primary firing the shield, storm arrowing the shield, and then when Dino calls that we go for the... This is the difference I want eventually. We're going to be starting off with calling the pulls. Eventually, Dino, I want you to get to a point where you're calling, like, essentially I'm just calling it the kill switch. Because it's the one where we sync all of our cooldowns, because we basically guarantee the kill. Like, we kill them before they touch the floor, basically. They'll get pulled up, we'll commit Rock, we'll commit Storm Arrow, we'll commit a damage boosted barrage, and we'll commit Baptiste primary fire as well. We commit absolutely everything into spamming that cluster, and we will kill someone. We can't do it on the first because they just trade all their cooldowns for it, but we get to that point where we grind them out. This is what I mean by grinding them out, where we just run them out of resources and then we hit that kill switch halt and we kill them. And that's like one of the reasons why I like double shield and I peak high on it. It's just, you play patient, right? You play patient, you kind of play passive and then you go.
Echoes above you on your left.
Oh my god, so close.
Help our wrestler, help our wrestler.
I have to reload very soon. I have to reload now.
Halt Rock is... We just want to be making it like...
No shielder.
Not as much. Like just the Rock does like fuck all to the shield.
Like
we want to be making sure we can almost confirm the stun. Frost, I've talked to Concha because I don't know. I know you've played not a lot. Talked to Connor in the server or Concha. I'm kind of the same. In this comp in general, I think it's best to play reactive. Connor says something on the lines of he likes to have his cooldowns forced out of him. You should know what that means. So we want to make sure that we're rocking the Sigma's grasp, and we're not having our own grasp rocked, and we can stun like out of position McCree's, for example. Just going for the Halt Rock early is kind of useless because the Sigma's just going to shield it. We want to grind down the Sigma shield, make sure that if the Sigma has to overextend, for example, to cover this off angle with the grasp, then we rock him, then we stun him, then we kill him. He's locked in an animation, so if we can stun him out of grasp with a McCree or something, or with a Mei freeze, for example, that was why Mei was so good. Because when we force the grasp, you pressure the freeze, and then if we get the freeze, we just kill him.
If you get low, don't...
So Sigma in this comp is reactionary. We want to use the shield in reaction to the Halt. As they come through, and then when we get out, they're going to be low as well. We just want to pressure their Sigma shield whilst maintaining our own with the halts and shit like that. But just generally be more reactive. Have your cooldowns forced out of you.
Be afraid to call us.
Because your cooldowns on Sigma are reactive. You need the shift, and your shield is low, and they've used Rock, and you need to cover for yourself or cover for someone to like reposition.
I have him. You and his amp?
Do we get the stun off a Rock, or is that because we hit the Orisa?
If you get low, don't be afraid to call us stabilize.
I have amp.
So we see Orisa, the Sigma's on the off angle, which is good, and their shield's down. This is an absolutely fine Rock. This is the Rock I want. This is the Rock I'm talking about. Good Rock.
You and his amp?
It's a shame because we can't really follow more into that because we're not close enough.
Window in.
Yeah, we went in this way.
Yeah, we just window in. I want to be comboing Halt with window every time. Even if it's not a fire strike, we set the window up, basically we hold them, we window, they die.
I'm ready.
It's just that burst of damage. it's that kill halt again. Like the window makes a normal halt just basically get turned into a kill switch. So as we do there we look, we window, we get the halt, and we just
Cree's out position. Cree's
we
on
force
their back.
we force
Just
fortify,
wait,
we
wait,
force
wait, wait,
bongo.
wait,
See look at the halt gets in.
Can you res
Echo above, echo above.
AC 130 above.
Like, oh, just again.
But look how much shield Frost gets, like holy shit.
Help us support.
What was the soft disengagement, my bad.
The
Not your
overall.
faults. We just stood still. I'm resing Sigma. Destroy lamp, destroy lamp. Disengage. I can res that. I'm resing Sigma. Window in. Or Anna. They're setting up. Okay, so tap shield.
Yeah, I'm going in.
So we got the window again, but that window's trying to use this, we can kite it, wait it out.
Kill Echo.
He hits a headshot.
Oh, can get up.
So I chose the weird one here, right, in this comp, because the ability to just clone and refresh your cooldowns is super important. That's something I need to look into more. I think Sigma's definitely a good clone here as well,
I can
especially with the
res that.
flux.
I'm resing Sigma.
If you like double flux in a fight, it just
Chinese
seems super good.
Echo on
Yeah,
me.
six. Echo
Push
left
in,
side.
please.
Echo.
Fuck is.
Go on, 6.
Go 6.
We want to push in, we want to be gradual. We want to be gradual though, but we need to go forward with
Okay,
this
one of
comp
the
because
biggest
then we
traps
give
on
Rid the
Sam is
angle.
just standing where you're stood, I'm putting a shield.
Yeah.
Two.
So we do want to move up, we want to do it gradually. Arissa goes forward and backwards.
You say together, 3, 2, 1, we push.
Oh, run.
Yeah, 100% you can push. It's fine though, like when you're down
you have
cooldowns to make sure you want to go for the initial trade, but that's probably like
Slide.
1 or 2 holds. Right.
Can you heal me?
If we're using 2 holds basically from the same location, it's kind of dangerous
Blind.
because we're just staying still.
That feeling when you're blind.
We're setting
They're
higher.
setting up.
You're up high ground.
Okay, the tanks just stack bottom, try and play for pool.
I have window
Hold
here.
on.
I have window.
Echo sort of knows where I am.
MB, don't die.
And we
Echo's
do
left
be
side.
feeding here.
Tranquil
That's
save.
it.
McCree tight.
Arissa jumping in, Arissa jump.
We can pull like this. Okay, I'm gone.
Let's go.
Go, go, go. McCree high ground, he's flanking for high noon.
Play slower.
Flanking for high noon
We
on
can
high
pull
ground,
dragon.
please.
Pull dragon.
He's off,
Get
he's
the McCree,
off.
get the McCree, get the McCree, get the McCree.
We need to go forward, they're split. They're
Oh, no shields. No shields. No shields.
Echo behind, echo behind. Fuck, do you have wit lamp?
Get sick,
Go on, 6.
MB is quiet here.
Echo.
Man.
get sick.
This is the right play from MB, 100%. If we don't pull dragon, we can split dragon. He just doesn't call it. If you call that MB, we win the fight off
High
it.
res.
We win anyway,
Nice.
but because we have to commit
Echo behind,
barrage.
echo behind.
Where's someone?
We
Where's
got
someone?
echo.
But like, as they've used cooldowns, splitting them with dragon is super
I
good.
together.
Nice.
Or just try the...
They're setting up.
You're up high.
He pulled into that. Shield.
Yeah, I'm going in.
They're setting up.
You're up high ground.
Okay, the tanks just stack bottom, try and play for pool.
I have window
Hold
here.
on.
MB, don't be off handling against Echo. No.
I have window.
Echo sort of knows where I am.
It's kind of small. You have to play with a
die.
team of this.
Echo.
You need the ult for protection because that Echo will just like execute you
That's fine.
basically.
Tranquil
Get
save.
sick.
McCree tight.
Arissa jumping in, Arissa jump.
We can pull.
Overlap
pull like
shields,
this. Okay, I'm
careful.
gone.
So we pull,
Let's go.
we whiff pull, but we get the sig anyway.
Go, go, go.
So we're gonna get the
McCree high ground, he's
fortify
flanking for high noon.
or not.
Play slower.
Flanking for high noon
We
on
can
high
pull
ground,
dragon.
please.
Pull dragon.
He's off.
We
he's
knock
off.
him off.
Get the McCree, get the McCree.
We need to go forward.
So this is where comms like we just throw dragon in. This isn't on Crafox, okay? Like we need to understand how our cooldowns work. You should be the one asking for it, right? Like you should be the one asking for the pull, and then he's like, "Oh no, I've not got it," or "Yeah, throwing it out." Because of the way that the cooldowns work and the spam works, you need to take charge of your own cooldowns. Can you pull for flux? I'm going to split them off with dragon. Do we have shield? Get ready to push. Even if like we're not necessarily ready, like you've got to understand when we have the shield back up, and you can just do it by looking at your own tanks and looking at your own cooldowns and understanding theirs, like just by seeing the game. This is a fine dragon. This play is fine. The problem is that we don't follow up because the call isn't made. Please, for the love of fucking God, especially the Baptiste, especially a Farah, especially a Hanzo, take charge and ask for the Orisa pulls so we can spam them down. No. Let me repeat that because my lisp was super bad there. I need fucking speech therapy to the age of 5. I swear to God, I'm a retard. So I'll repeat it again slowly. Please, 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 it is super crucial in this composition that you ask and you demand the Orisa pulls and you understand how your ultimate works and how you get value. You take charge, you do not wait for the Orisa, you take initiative, you ask for the pull, and then the Orisa does it. Once the pull is off cooldown, that's something you mentally track in your head. MB, this is something Bandy used to do really well with the Doomfist. He understood that when pull was available, because that's when he hard committed, because once he went into Meteor, that's when he got the pull Doom. That's something that both our DPS need to understand when we can engage, because we have the pull to combo with our ultimates. It's the same with Isaac or Dunk on the Baptiste. We understand when there's a situation that we can use pull to kill switch with our ultimates. So that's something that needs to be called from everyone apart from Dino. Dino needs to focus on shields and he needs to focus on calling cooldowns. In this comp, when we want to go initiative, we call ultimates. Everyone calls their own ultimate basically. We get the combo with Dino's pull. Dino is going to be calling shield placement, engage, his own pulls for poke, and he's going to be calling spam. So yeah, Dino is going to be calling the cooldowns of the enemy team and his own shield and his first couple of pulls. When we get near ultimates and we look to plan with ultimates, we want to be saving the pull so that pull Sig, pull Dragon, pull Barrage, pull Window can go from there.
Oh, this place, they're all
Oh, no shields.
In general, in fights where we don't just have a very, very clear win condition, we want to, most likely when we've got everything available, we want to start the fight with a pull Sigma to force all their cooldowns. We'll force Lamp, we'll force Fortify, we will probably force a lot of other shit as well. And then we want to go from there, then we want to go the next pull with something like Dragon. Or with Window.
No shields, no shields.
To open up the fight, actually, but finally we'll get done. I'll actually get done and cut this VOD. I'm going to go play Rocket League or go shopping. Or do some other like Life is Strange content. Sig to open the fight, Bapt to open the fight, Hanzo to open fight. All these are really good at forcing out the lamp from the enemy Baptiste and forcing the Fortify and the shields and the flux and the grasp out. In the Brawl meta, when you played May, Reaper, Lucio, Moira, the flux you always open up the fight with, and I'll say it now because we're going to be playing that comp at some point because it's still good. So the double shield, the flux allows you to force Reaper, allows you to force May Cryo, and it forces Fade. And at that point, then we W key into them because we still have those cooldowns and we spam them out. Those cooldowns are then forced. We can wall after they get fluxed and they land because they'll still take a shit ton of damage. If they aren't, so they either trade the cooldowns with flux and then we go in with our own cooldowns basically. And we want to be use flux basically early as possible because then it allows us to keep the pressure up. And eventually we just, as I've said a million times, we'll hit the kill switch and then
Echo
we'll kill them.
Echo behind.
It's important that we play patiently. We play patiently aggressive on double shield. That's how it works. That's basically the play style for it.
Do you have with them?
They have potential to swing
Back
this.
up.
I res.
So like wasting cooldown, for example, with the lamp is super dangerous.
Echo behind, echo
Because if
behind.
we don't have a lamp there, it gives the potential back into the fight.
Echo.
Just with the
Isaac,
massive
get it.
pull flux.
Echo behind.
Don't rock it.
Oh, I got you, MB.
Okay, relax.
The late flux, whilst
tank,
normally
take
not that
brush,
important,
keep
because the fight's lost anyway at that
Fuck,
point
where's the
from
blood?
them, it can be dangerous because he could
I
just chill 4 with it
the
because
window.
it does so much damage.
Pull chokes. Just let them free chokes for free. We have a Pharah and we have a Hanzo. We pull into that and we spam that.
Left side.
Left.
So we do it because we force cooldowns and because we force pressure. They're having to use cooldowns and sustain to get into us, and by the time we're ready to take the fight properly and commit our pulls and our rocks, they don't have the correct countermeasures because they've had to use it to sustain against the poke.
Pull.
Echo's flanking left side.
I'm gonna put window now.
Nice. Bro.
Good, we rocked the high noon. Good.
They have
The
another
echo
side.
Risa.
Kill
Nice.
No shields, no
We get
shields.
lamp.
Pulling.
Orisa's one.
Jen, for both flex supports, we want to make sure we're getting a halt in with window. Flux, Dragon, and Baptiste should always be halted with. Always. There always needs to be a halt call. And the call needs to come from all 3 of you, as I've said. But with all of these, always make sure that the halt is ready, because if the halt isn't ready, you just because of the way that you can sustain around cover and just sustain and use cover. Sorry, like the window doesn't get a lot of value there, really.
Freeze one. Freeze one right.
But just it's, and even if the window does, it's just good habit to make sure
Okay,
that you can
swap
combo
off.
halt
Anyone
in.
hit him?
Rediac, go May. Don't stay far with it.
I might just. I might.
we have
Oh yeah, we embarrass.
So you can lamp
You hit the
barrage
barrage
here.
up. Think about it.
I
You've got
have-
time.
I
You
have
can
land.
pull Sigma barrage into that.
We just
You can pull. The Farah can set up probably around here. Conk mine into them. If you throw a lamp here, you can just go low enough so you can hide, especially when there's a corner involved and they're going to be setting up around a corner. You can put your lamp here and you can throw your Farah like around here. So we're going to be getting the Farah barrage, and they have to go out from round the cover. They have to go out round cover to shoot the window. So obviously, like Sigma's the only one that can shoot around corners.
committed to a shitter call.
Yeah, they've committed to a really shit corner here.
No shield, careful.
I have land
Actually, I was back all sorry.
for the barrage.
We've committed to a shit corner as well, actually. Holy fuck.
Fuck junk.
Wait, no, they're on a good corner. We're on
You
the
ready,
shit one.
call it? Now we go.
This is bad for us. There we go. Like the Hulk comes in, and we should just get blown up at this point.
Okay.
We can pull dragon.
Oh, went wrong side.
Yeah, I save pull.
Pull dragon early.
Yeah.
At this point, yes, pull dragon early. At this point, this is the most pull dragon thing ever. When we get split, when we split in odd situations and we have dragon, we want to be looking, or DPS ults, we want to be looking to try and peel, just to try and get them out and get them back.
We can pull Sig, pull Sig, pull Sig.
Go now. They're pushing out tight.
We're just not doing it early enough.
They're pushing out split. You have to push that.
Yeah, like we just waste flux as well. We just
Again,
don't
wait,
act.
Sit still, and they just push off split.
Guys, when I do like to call like dragon pull,
Yeah,
I
you swap.
barely do because I don't even know. Just don't say anything else then. Like,
No, it's a good call. MB should be echoed. Like people should.
It needs to be echoed and responded to. You need to be like. You need to say that you are dragoning. You are dragoning. Fucking hell. That you are using your dragon. You are dragoning. Fucking hell. Dragoning. Jesus Christ. You need to call that you're using your dragon, and then that you are basically demanding the pull from Dino. You need to call that you're doing it. You need to be assertive with it. That's something that we're not doing in general. The lack of assertiveness is costing us in double shield. We need to make sure. Can you pull? I'm using my ult. Like I'm using my dragon here. You need to pull
Dragon's
this.
the play there.
like then just someone says
Pull dragon against that rotation is 100% the play.
Yeah.
voice ults.
I'm just going Zen for.
It's like the fucking the number one crime against double shield is just waiting too long, and especially using an ultimate late like Flux. If it was old Flux, maybe.
Okay, let's go.
Let's just pull dragon really early here.
First cooldowns.
That's how you play spam.
If we can't pressure this Sigma out, we ignore him because he can't shield his team then. If he's here, he's not shielding
Did
his
they-
team, and shielding team is more important in double shield.
Trans.
They haven't used trans yet. They have a stick behind. Six disco behind.
Kill Sig.
It's fine.
He's in like the most
Basically plays the perfect response, and we should wall and kill
top
him.
position. Get him.
Get Sig.
Echo behind. Need help.
Oh,
Need help. Need help.
No man, that's all. No.
Not winnable. Not winnable. Just reset.
How does he not?
True.
Reject the
Sig is split off.
Help.
No man, that's all.
I'm close to mail.
Watch out. There's a stick as well.
Don't stagger yourself.
MB's popping him.
He gets so lucky he gets boosted onto the high ground.
Wait,
Popping.
he killed like
Wait.
4 of them.
MB's
Ow.
actually popping.
To the lamp.
Ow.
Kill the Sigma. So it's super lucky they overextend here. It's a really nice play from MB and Isaac. Really
Oh,
nice.
MB.
What?
What the fuck?
What?
Okay, MB actually trolling, dude.
Where's
What the
this
fuck?
man?
Actually
Hey,
trolling.
Junk on point. Oh,
Where's
what the
Junk?
fuck?
Behind.
Junk
One
point.
was going back, but he's running the spirit.
Okay, I have mail next fight.
MB and
So whilst we're down, we have the advantage that they're on overtime respawn. We can super set up for this fight.
be back.
We can really hard set up for this. So the play here against their rotation, even if we haven't ultraed it, is most likely blizzarding and then going for the high noon or some sort of Bonjo high noon blizzard. And probably the order, you probably want to pull blizzard first, and then if it's a fat freeze, it looks like it's going to be fat, we can high noon it to clear up easily. But most likely we want to be high nooning after. Because the high noon won't really force the bongo. So we want to
Sounds
like
a fucking
MB's
bot.
1 fight per script.
we have we have a window as well actually. So we can blizzard early to force out their cooldowns, and then we go back in with a window high noon. Yeah.
Where he puts his...
You have blizzard, you can blizzard early.
Blizzard in. Look, they're pushing out left side. I have
M,
transit. I focus the rest, Also one.
But yeah, like this comp is all about just understanding the mini micro combos. Most things are one ultimate and a pull and a halt. But there's other things like window high noon. We can McCree high noon on the high ground here. Blizzard is basically just like same with Flux. Blizzard and Flux are comboed with halt to force cooldowns, and then we go from there.
Here, take it.
I transit.
Restore.
Get it, Arista.
Nice. Pushing past you. Pulling.
Get the sig now, get the sig.
Yep, Sig next.
Get sick, everyone sick.
Sig has to die.
Oh no!
If he dies.
Point.
Oh, we got it.
Yes!
Restore.
Fight per script.
Yeah.
Where he puts his...
You have blizzard, you can blizzard early. He gets one fight per map where he hard
They're
carries.
pushing out left side. I have
M,
transit. I focus the rest, Also one.
here, take it.
I transit.
Restore.
Get it, Arista.
Nice. Pushing past you. Pulling.
Get the sig now, get the sig.
Yep, Sig next.
Get sick, everyone
Rid almost throws, but just ice blocking this immediately.
Sig has to die.
Oh no! Who pushes it? Is it Isaac that pushes it in?
Point.
Oh, we got it.
Yes! Watch out, there's a sig as well.
So that's a little micro tech as well. I've literally just realised. You can stay under here because you won't get lifted up as much. I'm pretty sure you can. If the cart is like here, I'm pretty sure you can contest. You might not be able to actually. But okay, thanks for Envy said fuck you guys and carried you, GR. Yeah, like golden nugget. So please call pulls, especially. But yeah, pull is super good in the comp. Pretty much that explains it all. I'll put out this in written, but hopefully, let me recap it. So okay, in Double Shield, what we want to be calling. Krafox can call the ultimates. What he calls what ultimates we use. In Double Shield, because of the way that all the ultimates work with Halt, we want to be using them as early as possible to force their cooldowns. Those calls want to be coming from the actual people. They want to be called, so the core priority is, I think ideally if we've got everything, we want to be using Flux first, then we want to be using Dragon, then we want to be using Window. So this is basically in order of like how important they are, right? We want to use Flux first because it just forces cooldowns. Flux is probably better than both of these ults, but it's also better at forcing cooldowns. So we want a Flux, then we want a Dragon, then we want a Window, and then we want the other DPS ult, whatever it is. This can obviously all change, but the ones we want to be using, and then Bongo. And then right at the bottom here is Blizzard. Most of the time, the way it works, if the fight devolves so much, we either want to be using... Blizzard is weird, right? I think we either want to be using Blizzard here, because then we force the cooldown super hard, but most of the time they just disengage and the Blizzard gets no value. But most of the time, we want to be waiting for any of these ultimates to be using and forcing the cooldowns, or just using the natural rotation anyway. And then when they have no cooldowns, we pull Blizzard. Blizzard is the econ ult. It's when we want to be kind of empty in all of these. If it's an ideal world, we want to wait for our ult economy to kind of dry up, wait for their cooldowns to go, and then Blizzard is kind of we just use the Blizzard for the one ult, and then we win because Blizzard is literally that powerful.
I'm gonna shut up now. But the last thing I'm gonna say.
So let me just make a bit of a check note. Let me clear everything. So step number 1, ults are called by the user. This is general though. We want to give the actual call over to the person that's using the ultimate. Number 2, we want to be using ults as early as we can to force cooldowns. In neutral fights, the halt is always the win condition. We grind them down with halt. We just go halt, trade a bunch of primary, and then we throw in that halt, and then we commit rock, we commit storm arrows, we commit primary fire. We maybe get a window because the fight's been going on long enough, and then we kill switch them. So let's look to improve on that. It's all about how we play around our tank cooldowns. Those need to be called as well. Remember, if we're going down a long sight line, we need to use the Sigma shield to shield out, and we want to be using the static shield once we get round cover. And when we have Mei, we want to be using the Mei wall basically as a secondary Orisa shield. We can use it also as a if we have like a Lucio or something, we can also use the Mei wall. This is why Mei's so good, right? Because we use the Mei wall. We can either use the Mei wall to wall them off, so we can rotate and we can save the Orisa shield, and then we static into them. And we basically just rotate as they're breaking the Mei wall, so we cut off their line of sight. If they're playing with a Pharah or an Echo, it's more difficult because they still get a spam angle. With Halt Hook, if Sigma's banned and we still decide that we want to play Brawl, we go Halt Hook. We want to use the wall when we throw the Halts out, the Fortifies come out, then we go for the hook, and then we Halt Hook. We'll land it, they'll get pulled in, and then we wall them off. That's pretty much that. I'm fucking starving, holy shit. Nothing's going to be open as well. Thing is, like, I'm late hungry. Either way. So yeah, that's what we're going to be working on, double shield spam. Luckily, the double shield basics transferred quite over easily into Doom Reaper. It's just instead of like pull Dragon, we just pull Doom. Pull Doom allows us to commit super hard. Alright, that's pretty much it. Hopefully this VOD wasn't too long. I'll upload this as I go out and start playing Rocket League, or go out and put my washing in. I'll see you in a bit, guys. Peace.